Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Gossip in the Dark. We're talking Baywatch.
All stories alleged. For gossip and entertainment only. Let's do this.
So, guys, it premiered on Hulu. It's a docuseries, and it's called After Baywatch. So, I'm going to read an article from Forbes magazine, and basically, the article is about the cast from Baywatch telling what it was like working on the show. So during this video, you're going to see photos of cast members back then and present as they all gathered for this docuseries. It's a 4-part series and it's on Hulu. And again, the article is from Forbes and it's titled After Baywatch Documentary Reveals What It Was Like to Be a Part of a Cultural Phenomenon. It wasn't supposed to be one, but Baywatch somehow became a cultural phenomenon at one point, watched by 1.2 billion viewers weekly. Now, over 30 years later, the series, which is not only still frequently referenced in pop culture, has spawned a 4-part behind-the-scenes documentary. The series, created by Michael Burke, Douglas Schwartz, and Gregory J. Banan, aired for one season on an actual TV network, NBC, in 1989 before heading to syndication, where it ran until 2001. Baywatch was known for its stunning-looking, scantily clad lifeguards who wore what's now an iconic red bathing suit while running in a slow motion on the beach, as well as gratuitous bikini shots and music videos popped right into each episode. The plots were often outrageous and the characters' growth was non-existent, but the series did spawn a generation to learn CPR, understand that RIP currents are very real and very dangerous. So that's rip currents, with some taking up lifeguarding as a career. Helmed by director executive producer Matt Felker, the 4-part documentary series After Baywatch Moment in the Sun includes interviews with more than 35 members of the original cast and creators. Felker, who clearly was deeply affected by the series, spent 5 years putting it together. I was inspired to be an actual lifeguard because of the show. That is true. And I was very inspired to move to California in my early 20s because of it as well, admits Felker. Using the interviews, in which nothing was off table, as well as never before seen footage and home videos, the series delves into the mythology of Baywatch, how it marketed the American dream and its impact on its stars, all leaving behind an indelible mark on society. To make the series, Felker had to go to great length, as he explains. Greg Allen Williams, who played police officer Garner Hellerby, had never done a Baywatch interview in 30 years. He made me write him an essay. He had to understand why I was doing this, how he was being positioned, and he really welcomed me with open arms. Michael Bergen, who starred as J.D. Darius, ghosted me for what I don't know how long. He's a real estate agent, so I showed up at a house that he was selling, and I ended up buying the house. So he had to go through a lot to get to these original stars of the show. Nicole Eggert, who portrayed Roberta Summer Quinn for 2 seasons served as a producer on the series, getting many of her castmates to take part in the project. The home videos came from Eggert as well as Jeremy Jackson, who began on Baywatch as a child actor at the age 10 and remained with the series throughout its run, and David Chokachki, sorry if I'm butchering, who played lifeguard Cody Madison for 4 years. There is plenty revealed in the series, with a heavy focus on the actors' struggle in their personal lives as the series became a worldwide sensation. About this, Chokachi says, I think we were always tagged as this superficial show and the actors were all just good-looking people. But this documentary, I think, is going to be a chance for people to have access to our real lives without a filter. And once people see the journeys we've all been on in our own lives, the good and the bad, instead of stigmatizing the show when you hear the name, we'll have a lot more respect for the name Baywatch and for the actors who worked on the show. Jackson agreed, saying, respect and Baywatch, 2 things you don't expect to hear in the same conversation. Chokachki, speaking directly with Forbes, added, yeah, there was a lot of flash in the series, but I do feel like there was a good deal of substance to go with that, and let's talk about both when we talk about Baywatch. Not that just it was people running around in bathing suits. More nuggets that were not included in the documentary but were revealed to Forbes included some insight from Billy Warlock and Alexandra Paul. Warlock, who played Eddie Kramer in the TV movie that started it all and the first 2 years of the series, explained that he had a complicated history with the show. As an original cast member, he appearing in the first season that aired on NBC. The narrative of that season featured Warlock and has his real-life girlfriend at the time, Erica Eleniak, who portrayed Eddie's love interest, Shawnee. After the first season, word came that NBC had canceled the series, so Warlock, who previously been a regular on Days of Our Lives, went back to the series. Then Warlock recalls Greg Bonin called and asked me and Erica to come. He said, we have to have Shawnee and Eddie. So I broke my contract with these and went back to Baywatch. But what happened was that there was money there in syndication, but it went to producers and it wasn't nearly on the scale of network actors' money. So I felt like I got screwed on the money part. Wow. After the second season, Warlock and Eleniak left Baywatch, with him going back to Days after apologizing for breaking his contract earlier. However, even this, Warlock, who prior to being cast was an award-winning swimmer, says that he was very happy doing Baywatch. I loved being on set. I loved working with David Hasselhoff all of it was great. Okay, guys, I was like, this is a long read, but I think I'm almost done. Okay. Asked if the show were to be rebooted, if he'd be open to participating without a split-second passing, Warlock said with enthusiasm, 100%. Paul, who played Lieutenant Stephanie Holden, says that she knew as soon as she was cast that she wasn't like the other female lifeguard characters on the show. I did not have the body type that they did, she said. I was tall and let's say I don't have a big chest, so I knew I couldn't be like the others. Not only because I didn't have the body they did, but because the whole look just wasn't me. So I leaned into it and cut my hair and buffed up. To that, I just looked super strong. She said that she's grateful that she was different than the others because at the time, all of that taught me to be who I was. And I think it was really good life lesson for me to learn that at the time. Speaking about time and why now is the perfect time to revisit the series and the profession of lifeguarding, says Felker. I watch the lifeguards, how they work and how they are, and it's such a beautiful community of friendship. And in a time where kids are suffering a lot because they're just staring, at their phones, to see some sort of positive messaging about how maybe this is a path for me where I can be doing something outside. I can get into a pipeline where I'm learning about the ocean and I'm part of a community. What a better message to send to people in this day and age. After Baywatch, Moment in the Sun is available for streaming on Hulu. So yes, guys, there's the cast. So throughout this reading, you saw before and after pictures of some of the cast members. Now, David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson were not there. With David, I'm not sure if he has to be in the documentary. I haven't seen the documentary, but I would assume he was there. He was just not at the premiere of the documentary. Same as Pamela Anderson. She was not there at the premiere with the other actors, but she was in the documentary. So guys, if you have time, 4-part series, go watch it. Go see what it was like back then. See how far these actors have come, what their life was after the series, and go from there. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, please like, share, subscribe. Get me to 500 subs.